Okay, check, 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 check. I believe I have everything solved, and I apologize for that. Came to a situation where I couldn't see my display, and so I couldn't move between the different cameras and things like that. It just wasn't going to work. I think it was just one simple mouse button. But if you guys got me, give me the thumbs up. Let me know in the chat. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Again, still monitoring some severe storms right now in the western sides of Orange County. Live look outside right now to Winter Garden. And again, heavier rain has moved over this area. We now have a flash flood warning that is in effect for portions of Metro Orlando, and that thunderstorm is working its way north and west. That's what it looks like from Winter Garden. This is what it looks like from Conway. So now those storms have built far enough east where you can see that shelf cloud has moved east across Lake Conway and the Conway area in general, and will continue to track off towards the east. Again, the winds will be pushing away from this camera as they push from west to east. But, you know, this storm really got going in the western side of Orange County. Still quite prolific. Disney camera still shows you it's a wet late evening here on this Tuesday. Again, appreciate you guys coming back in. Sorry for that technical error. It was a simple misclick of a button, but it sent the system in the background behind me going nuts. Had to kind of basically restart the stream and restart a computer to figure it out. All right, so let's get back over to our radar system here. And we'll talk about the new flash flood warning that is in effect. Remember, I told you guys, you know, we had a flood advisory, and my system would show you guys when there was a flash flood warning. Well, now we have that for the areas that we've had some excessive rainfall, and that flash flood warning does go for a really long time. So it includes the Metro downtown area, Metro West, Gotha, Ocoee, places like Lockhart towards Fairview Shores. This is what the bulletin from the National Weather Service office out of Melbourne looks like. Flash flood warning for West Orange County until 9:15 tonight. We've already had 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain here. An additional 1 to 2 inches is possible. So 3.5 to 5.5 inches of rain here. Flash flooding is ongoing or is expected. So again, ongoing flash flooding in these areas, you know, places like the 408 and Colonial and Orange Blossom Trail and John Young Parkway up towards Silver Star. You know, these areas back down towards Metro West. Very heavy rain. Good Homes Road, it would be included in this as well. The western side, a lot of heavy flooding there. Hi Fiona, how you doing? And again, appreciate you guys tuning back in. Apologies for the technical error with the last live stream. Just easiest to reset things and start over. It happens, but I've got you covered here live on CFLW, which of course, as always, is sponsored by the leading law firm of Central Florida. You see their logo at the bottom of your screen. Now we have at least allowed the severe thunderstorm warning to expire. It's been replaced by a special weather statement. But now you have some really heavy rain up towards the Mount Dora, Mount Plymouth, Apopka areas, Wekiva Springs, areas east of I-4 that have been relatively quiet. You know, we've now had some of this activity move off, and they've just issued an extension to this flash flood warning to include Winter Garden, all of Hamlin, back down towards World Drive and Lake Buena Vista, the I-Drive corridor, Dr. Phillips, Bay Hill, Lake Butler, Tangelo Park, Windermere, Millennia, Oak Ridge, all now included in the flash flood warning. Basically, it's an extension in aerial size of where that flash flood warning was to the north. We'll take a look at this one. Again, that was just issued. 2 to 3 here, 1 to 2. So it's about the same. They're calling for a total of 3 to 5 inches. You know, the bottom line is, let's just broad brush this, guys. 3 to 6 inches of rain likely to fall in the west side of Metro Orlando out of these storms. Some areas have already had over 3 inches, with an additional 2 to 3 still to come. Again, this is not moving very quickly at all. I'll put the radar in the loop here over the last half hour, and you're going to see very little movement in general, right? A trickle to the north, Maybe a little bit of a weakening back down here, but still some heavy storms towards Zephyr Hills and Dade City. By the way, this is beginning to make a run towards I-75, the 275 interchange here in the northern sides of Hillsborough County. So Carrollwood, Temple Terrace, Northdale areas, starting to see some activity there as that back builds off towards the west. And Metro Orlando is the area with the heaviest storms right now. And some of this is lifting up to the north towards Sanford and the Mount Plymouth area there, across 46 on over towards Mount Dora. Again, right along the 429, places like 441 would be included in that. And again, this is all just over the last half hour. But you can clearly see the very heavy rain that continues to fall. And now the flash flood warning does extend a little bit farther east of I-4. Hey, Farrah, how you doing? I'm back. Yep. Just one of those technical snafus at the back end. I mean, literally hit a wrong button that I had never hit before. So it made for very interesting behind the scenes. Let's just say I wasn't happy, but that's okay. These things happen, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I really do. Thank you so much. Live look outside to Winter Garden. Again, sheets of rain there. This camera has avoided some of the heaviest thunderstorms. They've been a little bit east and north of this camera, but still a nice deluge, very gusty winds. And that's what we've seen through most of the western sides of Orange County here late on this Tuesday. Back over to Conway. Again, this is on the southeast side of Metro Orlando. They haven't had a ton of rain over the Conway area, but you can see that shelf cloud has worked its way well to the east there of the lake. And that will continue to stream on by. Now that shelf cloud is passed, there's absolutely the opportunity to see some of this activity slide back east of I-4. Hey, Jaden, how you doing? Thanks for tuning back in. Hey, Sin, good to see you. Hi, Fiona. How you doing this evening? Thanks for tuning back in, guys. Again, I'll say it one last time. Apologies for having to cut the other live stream short. Had a little technical issue behind the scenes that got worked out, and we're good to go again. So again, back over to the weather computer here, partly because I'm trying to do so much stuff for you guys in real time. It's my pleasure to do so. I'm going to go back out to the nation view just to reset the shot and then zoom back in. So at this point in time, no severe thunderstorm warnings. These are special weather statements. An inch below a severe thunderstorm. You got to have 60-mile-an-hour winds and or inch-size hail. We had severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-per-hour winds. We did have some reports of some hail, at least in portions of Winter Garden. If you guys are tuning in right now and you have had some weather in the area, let me know in the comments section below. Please drop it down there. Again, I was keeping a close eye on the previous chat before the snafu, so thanks again. If you, especially, you know, like Ocoee, Metro West, Winter Garden, maybe even portions of the Apopka area, we could have had at least some pea to dime-sized hail out of this. And now the concern is going to be for the opportunity for flash flooding. First of all, if you don't have to travel in this area the next couple of hours, that would be my recommendation, right? You know, my wife is going to swear that I came on to cover these storms because I didn't want to go to Costco with her tonight, but I wouldn't have wanted to get out in this weather to get to Costco anyway, because this has been exceptional rain. There's going to be ponding on the roadways, even the 408, I-4, and the 429. Certainly those areas that collect water, you know, the spots that have low-lying, areas in where you live. That's probably underwater right now, west of I-4 here in the western side of Orange County. And now some heavier rain is really beginning to kind of sneak into portions of Lake County as well. Eustis, Tavares, Mount Dora, fair amount of lightning at the hour. Tavares towards Astatula, back down 19. And again, this is kind of all crossed over portions of Lake Apopka. What's been left in its wake is not severe weather anymore for Oakland and Ocoee and Winter Garden, back down towards the Hamlin, Lockhart area, on over towards Lake Butler and Dr. Phillips, but extensive rain that's not dissipating anytime soon. So now we get into the how much more rain is going to fall here and what kind of flooding could we end up seeing. Flash flood warnings are serious business, right? We can have areas of fast moving water with that. We say turn around, don't drown. You see water covering a roadway, the smartest thing to do is just turn around, find an alternate route, don't go through it. But when we're talking about 3 to 6 inches of rain as a possibility here, that's a problem. Now, I don't expect this area to pulse back up, but where we could still see some stronger activities kind of on the north end of this. This is held together pretty well up towards Eustis and Mount Dora and Mount Plymouth, now as far east as I-4 towards the Sanford, Lake Mary area, and it's kind of moving up to the north. It is 7:45, right? We could have a little bit of a weakening of the storms as we head towards sunset, but there's a couple of areas that I think could still pulse up. I'm also watching this back in the northern sides of Hillsborough County, and some of that has back built towards I-75 into portions of Hernando and Pasco counties as well. Hi Farrah, how you doing? Oh, I did not want to go, well, I would have. I don't mind a Costco run every so often. You know, there's some neat things there, but I was not interested in doing both, that's for sure. Hi Therese, how you doing? Light rain in Kissimmee right now, glad you're back. Did you end up doing okay? Hey Stephen, how you doing? Thanks for all you do to keep us up to date on local storms. You got it. My pleasure. Yep. Good to go. And now I know not to hit that button again. But now we're in store. We'll be watching for some heavier rain and storms. Again, you know, earlier there was a discussion of potentially a funnel cloud or two. Looking at the velocity product here just live, right? Don't see anything out of where we have the heavier rain here. So we go up to the north. And I'm looking for bright reds and bright greens together, but in such a structure that would perk my interest. And I don't, which is good news. We didn't want any kind of funnel cloud development this evening anyway. Hail size, bring that on. So again, this is the radar algorithm. Could we have some hail near the Mount Plymouth area, 44 towards Eustis and Lake County? The answer is yes. If we did have some hail, you know, again, right at that edge of potentially damaging hail, that 0.88 is your nickel-sized hail. You know, that could put a couple of pings in your roof, could couple of pings in your car. That would, I think, be the most intense hail here. Again, the special weather statement is only for half-inch size hail, but there's not a heck of a lot of difference in how the thunderstorm evolves between a half-inch size and 0.8. So decent hail core right now, just north of Mount Plymouth, moving up to the north. Secondary, smaller hail core, close to I-4, close to Sanford, close to where the 429 now meets here. And again, half-inch size hail with this. This is out of the special weather statement, but I did note that this was one of those areas. And again, my system is actually picking up a hail core. That's what that triangle is. It's picking up half-inch size hail. So we kind of have a couple of things kind of coming together here. The radar algorithm that I use, and then the actual weather service radar from Melbourne on their mean estimated hail size. So bit of hail expected up there in the portions of Civil County as well. All right, back over to the reflectivity. And you know what I'm going to do here, guys, real quick is I'm going to bring on our composite radar, because it's going to give us a nice little 2-hour loop. All right, so if you're just tuning back in, and again, I appreciate you guys jumping back with me here for the second live stream of the night. This is how the storms have evolved over the last 2 hours. I'm going to take off the severe thunderstorm and the special weather statements, just so we can actually see the storms itself. Now, look, here we go. We're in the wet season. We're going to get sea breeze interaction. This was still aided a bit by some instability in the upper levels of the atmosphere, right? So this was kind of an enhanced sea breeze interaction for today. But the steering currents at the mid and the upper levels of the atmosphere are virtually non-existent. That's why these storms haven't had a lot of forward speed. If anything, we should start to get a southeast surface wind developing, and so these storms will probably push north and to the west, all right? Still expecting some back building east across I-4, but slow, erratic movement. It's the hardest stuff to try and track, right? It's the hardest kinds of storms to try and predict where they're going next, but we just kind of watch how they evolve. And of course, you know, outflows of thunderstorms, when they meet, you get new thunderstorms and then it starts all over again. The next couple of days could be fairly active here in Central Florida. Potentially not as intense as what we had over I-4 today, but with a southeast breeze starting tomorrow. It's the I-95 corridor that gets the storms early, and then they build west through the afternoon. So if you live in our western areas across I-75 and you've been desperate for some rain, we've got some better opportunities coming your way. Now I'll throw back on the special weather statements and the severe thunderstorm warnings, and you can see how these storms develop out of Polk County and into Sumter and Orange County. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in West Orange County. Now we're left over with the potential flash flooding that we could be seeing as we speak. I mentioned the storms are getting stronger north. You can see that these storms up here have picked up intensity getting out of Lake County, kind of towards Putnam County right now, to the far western sides of Flagler County. So there is another kind of congregation of storms there that are producing special weather statements. Swing back over to the Melbourne radar as well here. Let's see if it's back up and fully operational. It is. Excellent. Now again, Kissimmee, Four Corners, Buenaventura Lake, St. Cloud. This activity is trying to sneak over to you in a non-severe fashion, but additional rain could swing your way before it all kind of clears the area for us here. But right now, the heftiest with this special weather statement until 8 o'clock is going to be the northwest side of Orange County and portions of Lake. This is the actual bulletin from the National Weather Service office in Melbourne. Again, southwest Lake, northwest Orange counties until 8 o'clock, 50-mile-an-hour winds, half-inch sized hail. Minor hail damage to vegetation, Apopka, Ocoee, Winter Garden, Eustis, and Tavares. It's beginning to clear. I can tell you this much right now. Beginning to clear Oakland, Winter Garden, Ocoee. We still have heavy rain. We got to watch out for the potential for the flash flooding, but the most significant storm is getting out of here. This is the live look to Winter Garden. You actually see a little bit of clearing. Now, if you look back out to the left-hand side of your screen, that's south from this camera as we look off towards the west. Right? Still additional rain that could still sneak through the western side of Orange County. And the problem with that, of course, is that we've had so much rain, we already have a flash flood warning in effect for these areas. So we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the additional rain. It's still noisy outside. There's still a fair amount of thunder and lightning, even from this camera view right now, still getting thumped in the vicinity. Let's just put it to you that way. Again, that shelf cloud continues to work its way off to the east. It's a lovely shot from the Conway area of Orlando. We're just to the south and east of downtown from this camera. Never really had a ton of activity here, a little bit too far east, but we certainly did pull some SLCs, as I call them, some scary looking clouds across that area. And we're trying to get things to be better in the 8 o'clock hour for Lake Buena Vista. If you can look at the gutter there's still a little bit of rain dripping from this camera view, which again is just 1 mile from the Magic Kingdom, and we are looking back to the Disney property from this shot, which is why we like to show it to you. We had some ponding here in that park across the street earlier with some really heavy rain. That has now kind of seeped into the soil, and hopefully again it's more of a general moderate rain than additional heavier rain, because again, the flash flood warning is in effect for the attractions area in Lake Buena Vista. But if you are going to the attractions late tonight, and some of you guys like to, again, just keep in mind the wet weather, the stormy weather that will continue. Lightning count coming down a bit. We like to see that as well, right? So hopefully we're taking the higher end, heavier storms that are within this flash flood warning area, which, by the way, if you're just tuning in, could potentially be a total of 3 to 6 inches of rain from Lake Buena Vista up towards Winter Garden and Ocoee and Windermere and Gotha and Metro West, all the way back into downtown Orlando. I mean, technically, the far northeast side of this is in the downtown Orlando area, towards, obviously, places like Lake Eola. North side of that, Church Street, Fairview Shores is up there as well. Just to the west of Baldwin and Winter Park. It's really been kind of like a delineation line this evening, where I-4 west, stormy, hail, heavy enough rain for flash flood warnings. East of I-4, you've generally been pretty good. Most intense storms again right now, tracking north out of Tavares, Eustis, Mount Dora, Mount Plymouth. Building east towards the Sanford area. If you live in Sanford, you look off towards your west. You got some pretty nasty low-level clouds looking there. I'm going to bring on our current winds. 22 miles an hour at the Sanford Airport, 20 in downtown Orlando, 23 at MCO. See if we have any other stronger gusts. We had a 31 in Kissimmee. That's not bad. Zephyr Hills 33 as well. Again, these storms are not severe getting into Tampa at the hour, but there's a little bit of rain towards Safety Harbor, Town and Country, the Carrollwood area, Northdale, up towards Citrus Park there, up the Veterans Expressway, and especially following 275 towards Lando Lakes, and then back up 75 in general, where it connects up towards, just to the west there of Dade City, paralleling 301 and 98. Not anything severe, but a little bit coming back our way into portions of Hillsborough County, maybe even trying to sneak into portions of eastern Pinellas County. Eustis, Mount Dora, again, northern Lake County, pretty strong storm. Now my radar is still picking up some hail. Half-inch size here, half-inch size, which is kind of over the St. Johns River right now, and it might be trying to sneak towards DeBary. It's not shocking that you saw this pop on for this entire area, this new special weather statement for the next 33 minutes. Linda, generally speaking, the storms are moving kind of north and west. There is a build to the east slightly, but generally they're moving north and west. And I say generally because there is very kind of erratic movement to the storms, but we're now starting to see them pick a little bit more north. And I mentioned it even in the other live stream that I had to restart, that I expected there to be a bit of a push east eventually, and we're seeing that a little bit. But Linda, I know that you live in Brevard County. I do believe you will be fine, okay? I'm not going to rule out maybe some lighter rain pushing that far east towards I-95, but I don't think you get any real thunderstorms tonight. I think you're looking just fine, Linda. Again, let's check out this new special weather statement. Get you the deets on that, which look like this. Strong thunderstorm will impact northwest Citadel, central Lake, northwest Orange, and central Volusia counties until 8:30. Doppler radar, strong thunderstorm near the Lake Griffin area to DeBary, movement northeast at 15. So there's that east component that I've been talking about for the last hour or so. Wind gusts to 50 and some pea-sized hail. Again, look, you get 50-mile-an-hour winds, you're going to blow around some unsecured objects. You're going to potentially have some extremely minor hail, wind damage, roof damage, could knock down some trees, power problems could be an issue. I believe we had a report out of the Ocoee area that we lost some power with the storms when they were really intense about an hour ago on the western side of Orange County. But again, this is all kind of moving up to the north at this point in time. And again, kind of forward speed right here, still relatively low. Let's get back over to the weather computer, our cameras. Got to keep an eye out for this. Get back over to the chat as well. Blue Goose, back out. How you doing? Hey, Linda, Farah. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Boy, if you joined in a little bit earlier, you saw that this camera really was an interesting one earlier where we had some pretty active weather very close to it. This point in time, things are looking a little bit better in the Winter Garden area right now. Again, the rain beginning to diminish a little bit. That is good news. That's what we need to see because this area is under a flash flood warning at this point in time. And again, what that means is that we do have ongoing flash flooding in some of these areas. So we need to obviously, get this heavy rain out of the area. And that's what I'm hoping for that we get here in the short term. You could even see a little bit of blue sky, right? We'll take that after the storms earlier in the day. Conway's looking pretty good for you right now as well. Again, the opportunity here that a few showers could still drift over the Conway area of southeast sides of Orange County, but for them to be extremely, excessive, not expecting that to be the case at this point in time. Would anticipate that most of that activity is going to behave itself over the next couple of, let's say about 30 minutes or so in the Lake Conway area. Bit of a breeze, but generally speaking, you're looking west and you're seeing those storms be a little bit rowdier in your area, just west of there, that's for sure. And then another look for you guys back over to the attractions area, and appreciate you guys tuning in and hitting that like button for me right now. Again, we're trying to dry out a little bit here as well. That should generally be the trend over the next half hour. Still some light rain. Still kind of got to concern ourselves with the opportunity here for some weather that could still produce some lightning. And that's my biggest concern out of some of this activity right now, is that we still have some relatively, hot thunderstorms in some locations, and then the flooding that has persisted as well. Yeah, Farrah, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. But again, great to bring you guys these live cameras here at CFLW. We always, try and do what we can to bring you more, and we're working to do so, but it's always nice to have these cameras at and available for you guys as well. All right. So again, back over to the weather computer right now. We have this special weather statement that's currently in effect. It includes places like Leesburg, Fruitland Park, Eustis, Umatilla, Mount Dora, Sanford, Deltona North. Another special weather statement here, which should expire relatively soon. And it has. And again, the other issue that I'm concerned about is going to be the opportunity for the flash flooding. We have to watch out for that situation again in the western sides of Orange County. Flash flooding could be a concern for us here, as we go through, the remainder of the evening hours here, at least for the next, hour or two, right? That opportunity is going to be with us at least in short order here. Ocoee, Metro West, places like that. Again, farther north, we'll have to monitor the situation in this spot, but not as much of a concern there, at least for right now, because I do expect there to be the opportunity that rain is not going to be sticking in that area for as long. So more than likely, we'll have a better shot to see lighter amounts there when we're not going to have actual flash flooding. All right, that's what's happening for you outside right now in the Winter Garden area. And again, thunderstorms will continue to be pushing away from the area at this point in time. Not expecting us to see any development that's going to be, extremely significant here. But I got to tell you something. You're going to be in store for an absolutely gorgeous sunset. Behind these storms, once they clear out, man, oh man, is it going to be beautiful. Still could be some rain though. Again, south and west of the Winter Garden area, that's what you would see on the left-hand side of your screen. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for doing so. Farrah, thank you for saying that. It's very kind of you as well. Yeah, let's get up to 1,000 subscribers. We'd love to do so in short order, right? Again, the Disney area looks a little bit better as well. I think we're doing, overall better here, but those storms were quite rowdy a little bit earlier in the evening. And a look to Conway as well. And again, as those storms push off to the north, the storms that are over the Conway area right now, much lighter overall in nature. Not expecting those, again, to redevelop in a fashion that we're going to have to really monitor the situation, in a way where I think that we're going to have actual special weather statements or anything like that that would move back over the Conway area east of I-4. Basically, if you live east of I-4, I think you're doing pretty good here overall the remainder of the day. Friends, I think we're okay. I don't expect us to have any more severe thunderstorm warnings for the rest of tonight. I think that the hail threat with the storms that are to the north right now is not very prominent. You can see those storms moving up to the north, but they continue a weakening trend. So the thing I'm concerned about right now is the flash flooding, but hopefully with the heaviest activity kind of getting out of the area right now, I don't expect that to be a big problem in most spots. Now, if you do have water in your area as we speak, please be very cautious. Don't go out and about. Again, traveling, encouraged here across the 408, portions of the Turnpike in the Western Orange County area in general. But, this rain is beginning to abate itself a little bit. So I think we're going to be pretty good. So I think we're going to end this live stream for you right now. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please remember that CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. This is storm season. We're in it, friends. And when a storm rolls across your area, they can walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Again, this is a live only channel. When I'm on, things are happening. Appreciate those who stuck around. Apologies for the technical issue earlier where we had to restart our live stream. It happens. Doesn't happen very often here, but we got a lot of great technology that we like to use and show. And sometimes, things go awry, but for the most part, it's smooth sailing. Again, I'll be monitoring the situation. If there's a need to come back on in the next couple of days and evenings and track these storms with you guys live, I will. And please remember, I do a Monday and Friday live show starting at 1 o'clock, CFLW The Show, where we talk about the weather. We break down what's happening live, I take your questions, and we look ahead to what could be developing in the days for Monday, the work week, and the Friday show, Friday and the weekend. Just kind of have that constant contact with you guys, and I appreciate that as well. Thanks to all my friends in the chat for the thumbs up. Appreciate you guys for hitting that like button and subscribing if you guys haven't yet. You guys have a great rest of your night, and of course, whenever there's impactful weather here in Central Florida, I'll be on live here on the CFLW YouTube channel. You guys take care. Have a great one.